So you just put your heart and soul into an indie game, and the first feedback you see is,
The controls feel clunky and the art style is weird.
ouch. Feels like someone just told you your baby is ugly, right? We've all been there. As indie devs, our games are basically our babies. Tiny, pixelated code babies. And when someone points out a flaw, it hurts. Welcome to Don't Take It Personal, where we learn how to handle criticism like a pro and maybe even laugh about it. I'm Lou, and today we're going to talk about why getting feedback actually rocks and how to take those harsh reviews on the chin without letting it crush your soul. Alright, let's ask this question first. Why do we even need feedback, especially when it can sting so much? Imagine releasing your game into the wild without ever letting anyone else test it out. Scary, hmm? Player feedback is a powerful resource. It helps turn your game into something that truly connects with people. No matter how genius you are, as a solo dev or a small team, you're bound to overlook something. Maybe that puzzle that seems obvious to you is confusing the heck out of everyone else, or the boss you thought was challenging is making players rage quit in 10 seconds flat.
What's obvious to the creator can be completely baffling to the player.
It's a common bias. We're so close to our games that we assume everything makes sense, but players might think differently. And feedback isn't just about finding bugs or typos, though you'll catch a ton of those too. It's about understanding how people feel when they play your game. Are they having fun at the right moments? Frustrated where you expect them to be relaxed? You won't know until someone tells you. In fact, players can give up on a game quickly if it feels unfair or frustrating. So, bottom line, feedback matters because it shines a light on things you, dear developer, might never notice on your own. It's the difference between making a game you love and a game lots of people love. And if you're trying to sell your game or have players actually enjoy it, you gotta pay attention to those voices. Knowing this is one thing. Actually listening to criticism without flipping your desk is another. Alright, you've steeled yourself and started gathering feedback, and then it happens. Someone tears into your beloved project.
The story is lame. This level is impossible. Ugh, the art looks like it was drawn in Microsoft Paint.
Your first instinct? Maybe it's a screaming, "You just don't get my vision!" or crawling under a blanket for 3 days. Here's how you can handle it like a champ. Seriously, take a deep breath. Don't respond in the heat of the moment. It's like getting an angry text. You don't want to fire back with something you'll regret. Step away for a bit if you want to. Your game won't self-destruct. I promise. This is huge. That critic of your game is not a critic of you as a person. Repeat after me. I'm not my code, I'm not my art. It can feel super personal because you made it. But feedback is about the work, not your worth. Even the nastiest comment usually boils down to
I didn't enjoy this thing in your game.
not.
You're horrible human.
So try to view it objectively. They are talking about the game, not attacking you. Not all feedback is equal. Sometimes you'll get vague remarks like,
This game sucks.
"Gee, thanks, very helpful." Other times it's very detailed.
The jump feels floaty, making it hard to land on small platforms.
Whether it's nicely phrased or not, somewhere in there might be a useful point. Ask,
What are they really saying here? Is there a problem I can fix?
you might discover your controls are a bit unresponsive or your tutorial didn't explain a key mechanic. Who is giving the feedback? Other developers? Random players? Your grandma? That one troll who hates everything? If multiple players are saying the same thing, pay attention. If it is one outlier who wants your platformer to become a battle royale, well, maybe not. This one is tough. If someone criticizes your game on a forum or in a comment, resist the urge to argue or defend yourself in an angry way. Responding is fine, especially to ask for clarification or even to thank them for trying your game. But do not go on a rant about why they're wrong. You've seen those threads, right? Developers respond to a negative Steam review with a 10-paragraph essay. It never ends well. It can make you look unprofessional or scare off the other players from giving honest feedback. If you respond, keep it cool and appreciative. Sometimes, the best way to not take it personal is to find the humor in it. Keeping a sense of humor can be a lifesaver. Game development is stressful enough. A little laugh at your own expense shows maturity and keeps things in perspective. Remember, every game ever made, even the ones we all adore, got criticism at some point. Minecraft, Celeste, Hades, you name it. Critic is normal. It's how you use it that sets successful devs apart from those who burn out. Speaking of successful devs using feedback, let's jump into some real-world examples to inspire you. These indie or indie-ish games took a beating from feedback but came out way stronger. If they can do it, so can you. Remember No Man's Sky? It's not a tiny student project. Hello Games had a dozen or so people, but it's a perfect example of not taking criticism personally. When it launched in 2016, the hype was sky high and the reality not so much. Gamers were furious about missing features and bugs. The internet basically roasted Hello Games over an open fire. Many devs would have panicked, maybe even given up. But the folks at Hello Games went completely silent. No big excuses, no fights with the community. They just put their heads down and got to work, quietly listening to what players hated. And then they started fixing it. They rolled out update after update for free. First, a foundation update that added base building. Then Pathfinder with vehicles and sharing bases. Then Atlas Rises, bringing a whole new story and portals. And eventually the massive next update with multiplayer and tons more. It took time, over years of updates, but guess what? Players came around. No Man's Sky went from cautionary tale to a beloved space exploration game. By not getting defensive and by actively improving the game, Hello Games earned back the community's trust. Next up, Celeste, the beautiful pixel art platformer that's as hard as climbing a mountain. Literally, that's the plot. Celeste was praised to high heavens, but even a game that awesome benefited big time from feedback. During development, the team playtested the heck out of the game. They paid attention to when players got frustrated or confused. One famous outcome from this mindset was the inclusion of assist mode. Now, Celeste is intended to be tough as nails. But the developers heard from playtesters and the community that not everyone who loved the story and message could actually finish the game. And instead of saying get good, they added this special mode that lets you tweak the difficulty. And the response was overwhelmingly positive. Imagine pouring your heart into a story about overcoming depression, which Celeste's narrative is, and then a chunk of players can see it through because the platforming is too intense. Thanks to feedback, Celeste dev avoided the heartbreak. And they didn't stop there. After release, they even listened to a gamer who pointed out that the way they phrased the assist mode description felt a bit insulting. It originally said the game's difficulty was essential to the experience, which made some players feel guilty for needing assists. The devs were like, oh wow, good point, and changed it to say intended instead of essential to be more respectful. Tiny change, big message. These devs didn't take it personally at all. They literally collaborated with fans to make the game more welcoming. How cool is that? Last but not least, Hades. Yes, the award-winning, genre-blending roguelike that took 2020 by storm. Supergiant Games, the indie studio behind Hades, took a totally different approach from the usual develop in secret and drop the game routine. They launched Hades in early access, meaning the game was essentially in players' hands while it was still being developed. Why? Because they wanted player feedback at every stage. They actively built the rest of the game in partnership with the community. The devs set up forums and a Discord, watched people stream the game. They even had a system where players could upvote suggestions on Discord, but they also paid attention to the quieter, repeated comments. They balanced weapons, tweaked enemy behavior, added features, even included new storylines, all fine-tuned from community input. Every major update during early access included not just new content, but also addressed player feedback very openly. By the time Hades 1.0 launched, it was a polished gem. Hades now has a 98% positive rating on Steam and won numerous Game of the Year awards. They didn't take critics personally. They saw them as a to-do list to make Hades the best it could be. And clearly, it worked out pretty well for them. Feeling inspired yet? These examples show that criticism can be a game dev's secret weapon. But you might be thinking, great, I know feedback is good. How do I actually get it and use it? Okay, time to get practical. How can you, an indie developer, gather useful feedback and implement it without losing your mind? Let's break down some steps. Before you throw your game to the wolves, aka the general public, get a few trusted people to play it. Friends, other devs, that cousin who's super into games, anyone who will be honest with you. Watch them play if possible. Take notes on where they struggle or yawn or smile. Early feedback can save you tons of headaches later. And because they know you, you might get nicer comments. Once the game is a bit more stable, widen the circle. Release a demo or a beta to a small community. There are indie game Discord servers, subreddits, where you can find willing playtesters. Yes, this is where you might get some blunt criticism from strangers. Perfect. That's real player reaction. Set up a way for them to give feedback easily. A Google form, in-game feedback button, or just an email address. The easier you make it for players to give feedback, the more you'll get. When you do get people to test, asking specific questions can lead to more useful answers. Instead of just,
Did you like it?
try some questions like,
Was there any point where you felt frustrated or confused? What was your favorite moment or feature? Did you understand how to perform a certain action?
specifics help players focus their thoughts and give you actionable info. When your game is out, even in early access or as a demo, take time to read the reviews. Yes, even the negative ones. Especially the negative ones. Look for common threads. Do 5 different people mention that the game is too short or the UI is confusing? That's a big red flag to address. Hop onto Twitch or YouTube and watch people play your game. If you're lucky enough that someone is streaming it, it's incredibly eye-opening to see players who aren't your buddies navigate your game. Not every piece of feedback will be something you act on. Remember the Battle Royale guide? So, gather all this data and look for patterns and consider what aligns with your vision. Make a list of changes or fixes sorted by impact. Game-breaking bugs or major confusion points get top priority. Nice to have feature requests or ultra niche suggestions might go to a maybe later list. If everyone hates level 3, fix level 3 first. Then worry about adding 9 more languages or that new cat petting feature someone asked for. As you implement changes, remember why you're doing it. To make a better game. Very few games get it perfect on first try. The difference is made in that feedback cycle. Test, feedback, improve, repeat. And one more thing, appreciate your feedback givers. Whether it's a random Steam user or your best friend, if someone took the time to tell you what they think, it means they cared enough to do so. Even if the feedback is not delivered in the nicest way, it's showing that your game evoked a reaction. That's better than indifference. So thank people for their input. You can do this publicly or privately, and let them know you're working on making the game better. When players feel valued, they often turn into your game's champions. Alright, we've covered a lot of ground. Let's wrap this up and go home. Here's the big takeaway. Don't take it personal. Criticism is part of the process, not a verdict on your abilities. Every piece of feedback, even the cringy, angry, is an opportunity. It's a chance to level up your game and your skills as a developer. The more you listen and iterate, the better your game will become, and the thicker your skin will get. Think of it this way. You're basically training to become a pro game dev. Each time you handle a tough critic with grace and use it to improve, you gain XP in game development and in life, honestly. Soon, you'll find that feedback which used to make you upset not just makes you curious. Tell me more so I can fix it. That's growth. Remember those success stories. Those devs didn't take it personal, and neither should you. And thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more indie dev insight. Do you have any horror stories about brutal feedback? Don't forget to write a comment below. Let's help each other out. Remember, make games, have fun, and don't take it personal. And when someone says your game stinks, just smile and say, thank you for your feedback. I'm Lou, and until next time, bye!